If you're a fan of the shadowy corners of the world, hidden histories, and whispers of the past that chill the spine, then lean in closer.
The mansion stood, shrouded in mist and legend at the heart of Whisperwood. Locals spoke of it in hushed tones, a place of sorrow, a place of whispers. Its stone walls, crumbling and draped in ivy, held secrets, dark secrets. The mansion had stood for centuries, a testament to a forgotten era. Now it stood on the precipice of ruin, consumed by the woods. Some said the woods themselves protected the mansion, shielding it from the world. Others whispered that the woods were its prison, keeping something trapped within. The mansion was known as Hollow Mansion, a name that echoed its fate. Hollowed by time, hollowed by sorrow, it was a place where darkness lingered, seeping into the very foundation. A young woman, Lily, and her brother Mark arrived at the foot of the decaying mansion. They were drawn by curiosity and a shared inheritance. The mansion, a relic of their family's past, now stood as their responsibility.
It's not just a house, Mark, it feels alive.
Don't be such a scaredy cat, Lily. It's just an old house.
Mark, ever the pragmatist, saw an opportunity, a chance to renovate and sell. Lily, however, felt a tremor of unease. The woods were silent, watching. The air hung heavy with unspoken truths.
Are you coming, Lily?
Mark laughed, a dismissive sound that was swallowed by the silence of the woods. He didn't believe in ghosts or whispers, only in what he could see. But Lily felt it, a presence, something ancient and watchful. As they approached the entrance, the heavy oak door creaked open as if inviting them in, or perhaps warning them away. Lily shivered. The air inside was stale and cold, thick with the scent of decay and something else, something indefinable, something that sent a chill down her spine. She hesitated at the threshold, her hand hovering over the tarnished doorknob. Lily took a deep breath, steeling herself. She had to be brave. She had to face whatever secrets the mansion held. She stepped inside, the door groaning shut behind her, sealing them within its embrace. S1. A man with eyes as old as the house itself greeted them at the entrance. He stood in the shadows, his face etched with time and something else, something unsettling.
You the new owners? I'm Mr. Blackwood, caretaker.
Mark, and this is my sister, Lily.
Blackwood's eyes, dark and fathomless, settled on Lily, lingering for a moment too long. She felt a shiver run down her spine.
The house, it ain't right. Best be careful.
Mark dismissed the caretaker's words as the ramblings of an old man, but Lily couldn't shake off the feeling that there was more to his warning. Blackwood seemed to carry the weight of the mansion's secrets on his shoulders. His eyes, filled with a strange mixture of sadness and warning, held a depth that spoke volumes. He led them through the house, his footsteps echoing in the silence. Each room was a portrait of neglect, dust-covered furniture draped in white sheets, cobwebs clinging to every corner, the air thick with the scent of decay and forgotten memories. Lily couldn't escape the feeling that they were being watched, their every move scrutinized by unseen eyes. The mansion seemed to breathe around them, its silence broken only by the creaking of floorboards and the rustling of unseen things. Blackwood showed them their rooms, his presence a looming shadow in the dimly lit hallways. As he left them at the door, he turned to Lily, his gaze intense.
Be careful, child. Some doors are best left closed.
A cold spot settled over Lily as she stepped inside, a shiver running down her spine. The room was spacious, with a high ceiling and a large window overlooking the front gardens, but the air felt heavy, stagnant, as if it had been undisturbed for centuries. She unpacked her bags, placing her clothes in the antique dresser. The wood was cold and damp beneath her fingers. The room was devoid of any personal touch, stripped bare of its former occupants. It was an empty canvas waiting for its story to be written.
It's just your imagination.
Lily couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. She could sense eyes on her, following her every move. She turned around, her heart pounding in her chest, but the room was empty. But deep down, she knew it was more than that. The mansion had a presence, an energy that seemed to seep into her very being. As dusk settled over the mansion, casting long shadows across the walls, Lily decided to explore. She left her room, her footsteps echoing in the silence. The hallway was dimly lit, the air thick with dust and the scent of dampness. She wandered through the mansion, her fingers trailing along the cold stone walls. Each room she entered was a testament to a forgotten era. Grand ballrooms with tarnished chandeliers and faded velvet curtains, libraries with shelves lined with leather-bound books, their pages brittle with age. The mansion was a labyrinth of memories, each room whispering tales of a bygone era. That night, Lily heard it, a child's laughter, echoing in the cavernous halls. It was a high-pitched, chilling sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. She sat up in bed, her heart pounding in her chest. The laughter seemed to dance on the edge of her hearing, taunting her, daring her to follow.
She climbed out of bed and crept towards the door, her bare feet sinking into the plush carpet. The hallway was shrouded in darkness, the only light coming from the moon that cast an eerie glow through the arched window at the end of the hall.
She followed the sound of the laughter, her hand trailing along the wall for guidance. It led her to a room at the end of the hall. The door was slightly ajar, and a sliver of light spilled out into the darkness. Lily took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The room was a nursery, its walls adorned with faded wallpaper depicting whimsical animals and fairy tales. A rocking horse stood frozen in mid-gallop in the center of the room, its painted eyes staring blankly ahead.
And in the corner, bathed in moonlight, stood a crib. Lily cautiously approached the crib, her heart pounding in her chest. She peered over the edge, her breath catching in her throat. The crib was empty, but as she turned to leave, she felt a cold spot wash over her. And then she heard it again, the laughter closer this time, whispering in her ear.
Lily whirled around, her eyes wide with fear, but there was nothing there. She was alone. Or so she thought. As she backed out of the room, she could have sworn she saw a shadow move in the corner of her eye, a fleeting glimpse of something small and ethereal. Mark dismissed her fears, but Lily couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The laughter continued each night, growing bolder, closer. It seemed to taunt her, to mock her fear.
There's no such thing as ghosts, Lily. It's just an old house making noises.
But Lily couldn't shake off the feeling of dread that clung to her. The mansion seemed to press in on her, suffocating her with its presence. She began to see things out of the corner of her eye, fleeting shadows that disappeared when she turned to face them. She heard whispers in the dead of night, voices that seemed to call her name.
It's me, Mr. Blackwood. S1. Who is it? She called out, her voice trembling.
Lily hesitated for a moment before getting out of bed and opening the door. Blackwood stood in the hallway, his face etched with concern.
You need to leave, child. This house... IT quote S not safe.
What do you mean, what's not safe?
Some things are best left undisturbed. You need to leave before it's too late.
Lily's heart raced. She knew she had to uncover the truth. She had to understand the mansion's dark secrets. A spectral figure, a young boy with sad eyes, appeared before Lily. He stood at the foot of her bed, bathed in moonlight. His clothes were torn and faded, as if from another time. Lily's breath caught in her throat. Fear threatened to consume her, but the boy's sadness pierced through her terror. He didn't speak, but his eyes held a depth of sorrow that spoke volumes. He reached out a translucent hand, his touch sending a chill down her spine. Lily's fear gave way to a profound sense of pity. She sensed his pain, his loneliness. S4. Night after night, the boy appeared. He never spoke, but his presence filled the room with a tangible sadness. Lily began leaving a small toy by her bedside, a wooden train she'd found tucked away in the attic. Each morning, the toy would be gone, moved to a different spot in the room. A silent communication, a bond formed in the darkness. One night, the boy led Lily to the nursery. He pointed to a loose floorboard beneath the rocking horse. His touch sent shivers down her spine, a mixture of fear and an odd sense of comfort. S1. With trembling hands, Lily pried up the floorboard. Beneath it, she found a small wooden box. Inside, nestled in faded velvet, lay a silver locket engraved with the name Thomas. The locket held 2 photographs. One, a young woman with kind eyes and a gentle smile. The other, the boy from Lily's visions, his face unmarred by sadness, a gap-toothed grin splitting his face. Lily knew then. She held the key to the mansion's sorrow. The boy, Thomas, was a prisoner of his own past, unable to find peace. She had to help him. She had to set him free. The mansion's dark history unraveled, revealing a tragic tale of betrayal and murder. S1.
I discovered old journals hidden in the attic, their pages filled with a mother's love for her son, Thomas, and her growing fear of her husband's descent into madness. The husband, driven by greed and paranoia, had accused his wife of infidelity. He'd locked Thomas away in the nursery, convinced the boy wasn't his own.
The journals ended abruptly, the final entry a desperate plea for help, help that never came. Lily discovered a hidden room behind a bookshelf in the library, a room that sent chills down her spine. Bloodstains, long dried and blackened, stained the floorboards, a chilling testament to a crime committed long ago.
The husband, consumed by his own madness, had taken his wife's life in a fit of jealous rage. He had then turned on his own son, convinced that Thomas was proof of his wife's betrayal.
The mansion, once a place of love and laughter, had become a tomb, its walls echoing with the screams of the innocent. Lily felt a surge of anger and sorrow. She understood now the depth of Thomas's pain, his inability to find peace. He was trapped, bound to the mansion by his own tragic end. She had to help him. She had to set him free. The truth of the haunting, far more sinister and unexpected, began to surface.
As I delved deeper into the mansion's history, I discovered a hidden chamber in the basement. A chamber filled with strange symbols and arcane artifacts. The air hung heavy with a malevolent energy, sending shivers down my spine.
It was here, in this chamber, that I found myself chanting in a low, guttural language, my eyes glowing with an unnatural light.
He was not a caretaker, she realized, but a gatekeeper. He had been bound to the mansion, forced to guard its secrets and prevent the truth from being revealed.
Blackwood had been the one to summon the entity that now haunted the mansion, an entity that fed on sorrow and despair.
He had believed that by binding the entity to the mansion, he could control it, use its power for his own gain, but he had been wrong. The entity had grown too powerful, its hunger insatiable. It had turned on Blackwood, twisting his mind, using him as a pawn in its own twisted game. Blackwood had been trapped for centuries, forced to watch as the entity feasted on the souls of the innocent. He had been unable to stop it, unable to break free from its grasp. Lily realized with a growing sense of horror that she had been manipulated. The entity had drawn her to the mansion, using Thomas's sorrow as bait. It had needed her to uncover the truth, to release it from its prison. And she, blinded by her compassion for Thomas, had unwittingly played into its hands. The entity was not content with just the mansion. It craved more. It craved freedom, and Lily was the key. Lily understood then. She wasn't meant to escape. She was meant to fulfill a promise.
The entity, its voice a chorus of whispers in my mind, offered a bargain. Release it and it would reunite Thomas with his mother, freeing them both from their torment. But the price would be my soul.
Bound to the mansion, she would become its new guardian, its vessel in the mortal world. Lily was faced with an impossible choice. Sacrifice herself to save Thomas and his mother, condemning herself to an eternity of servitude. Or refuse the entity's offer, condemning Thomas and his mother to an eternity of torment, while unleashing the entity's full wrath upon the world.
The weight of my decision pressed down on me, threatening to crush me. I thought of Thomas, his sad eyes, his gentle touch. I thought of his mother, her love for her son echoing through the years. Could I condemn them to an eternity of suffering? Could I live with the knowledge that I could have saved them but chose not to? But the thought of surrendering my soul, of becoming a prisoner of the entity, filled me with a terror I had never known. I would be lost, my essence consumed by the entity's darkness. I would become a monster just like Blackwood.
The mansion remained, a silent testament to the darkness that lay dormant within its walls. The entity's laughter echoed through the empty halls, a chilling reminder of the power it held. Lily was gone, her fate a mystery.
Some whispered that she had sacrificed herself to save the world. Her courage a beacon of hope in the face of unimaginable darkness. Others believed that she had succumbed to the entity's power, her soul forever bound to the mansion.
The truth, like the whispers that haunted the woods, remained elusive, lost to the shadows of Whisperwood. Mark, his spirit broken by the horrors he had witnessed, abandoned the mansion, vowing never to return. He carried with him the memory of his sister, her laughter echoing in his dreams, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked in the shadows.
Freed from the entity's control, I disappeared into the night, my fate unknown. Some believed that I sought redemption for my sins, wandering the earth in search of atonement. Others whispered that I had become a recluse, haunted by the memories of my past, forever bound to the shadows.
The mansion stood as a warning, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lay hidden beneath the surface of the world. It was a place where the veil between reality and nightmare grew thin, where the whispers of the dead mingled with the rustling of leaves. And within its walls the entity waited, its power growing, its hunger insatiable. It watched, and it waited for the day it would once again be unleashed upon the world. The day the whispers would turn to screams. The mansion remained a silent testament to the darkness that lay dormant within.
Thanks for joining me in this chilling exploration. Remember, some doors, once opened, can never be closed. Stay curious, stay brave, and most importantly, stay safe. Until next time.